I'm setting the example. And what I've done is going to be puzzled over and studied and followed forever.
Born in South Orange, New Jersey, Kevin Spacey began his interest in film at a young age, sneaking out past his bedtime to watch late-night television and movies.
Due to his father's job, Spacey moved to California during high school, where he then burned down his sister's treehouse. Consequently, his parents sent him to Northridge Military Academy, where he was expelled for throwing a tire at another student.
At his next high school, Chatsworth, Spacey performed in the local production of The Sound of Music as Captain Von Trapp. He later graduated as co-valedictorian in 1977, then trying to pursue a career in comedy with his celebrity impressions, which he is now well known for.
Early to Christopher Walken. Now, Christopher couldn't be here tonight, Mike, but he did send the following telegram. Mike! It's crazy. You know, the AFI, it's an award. It's like the Tony, which I'm up for, and you have a bunch of. It's crazy. Jack Nicholson, and he gave me some pretty good advice about working with Mike. Isn't this brave? Another day, another $50,000. No, Jack said, the one thing about Nichols is he's a comic. The bastard's always laughing. It's like working with a damn clown in a director's chair.
After failing in comedy, Spacey, with the advice of former classmate Val Kilmer, majored in drama at Juilliard in New York only to drop out to begin his acting career. After appearing in minor theater productions and television roles, Spacey was able to meet his idol and future mentor Jack Lemmon, who convinced Spacey to begin acting in films. After mostly playing modest roles, Spacey had his big break as Verbal Kint in the 1995 movie The Usual Suspects, a story about a group of criminals hired by the infamous mastermind Kaiser Soze.
Nobody ever knew him or saw anybody that ever worked directly for him. But to hear Kobayashi tell it anybody could have worked for Soze, you never knew. That was his power. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Spacey then went on to win his first Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for this role.
Well, whoever Kaiser Soze is, I can tell you he's going to get gloriously drunk tonight. And that's a question that I'm often asked, who is Kaiser Soze? And I've always been very cryptic about my answer, but tonight I'm going to tell you who Kaiser Soze is for me. The person who pulls the strings, the person who manipulates, who hovers over us, who gives us life and breath. For me, Kaiser Soze is Bryan Singer, the director of this film.
Later that year, Spacey also surprised audiences in Seven as the film's main antagonist. He portrayed John Doe, a serial killer who murdered people based on the 7 deadly sins.
No big surprise.
Detective!
You're looking for me.
2 years later, Spacey appeared in another commercially and critically successful film, LA Confidential, playing Detective Sergeant Jack Vincennes, a cop more concerned with publicity than with justice.
Do anything to get ahead.
You're truly prepared to be despised within the department?
Yes, sir, I am.
One had his own brand of justice,
How's it gonna look in your report? It'll look like justice. That's what the man got.
and one loved the spotlight.
What exactly do you do on the show, Jack?
I teach Brett Chase how to walk and talk like a cop.
The following year, Spacey had the opportunity to do voice work in Pixar's second feature film, A Bug's Life, as the villain Hopper.
It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back!
Does anybody else want to stay?
In 1999, Spacey starred in American Beauty, probably his most lauded role as a depressed, middle-aged suburban father experiencing a midlife crisis. Not only did the film win an Academy Award for Best Picture, but Spacey also won the Academy Award for Best Actor.
We've met before, but something tells me you're going to remember me this time.
Whoa. You are so busted. You know, this really doesn't concern you.
Well, actually, Janine is senior drive-thru manager, so you kind of are on her turf. So, this makes sense.
Oh, Lester.
Honey, it's okay. I want you to be happy. Would you like smiley sauce with that?
Lester, just stop it.
No. You don't get to tell me what to do. Ever again.
This is Kevin Spacey's second Academy Award. He won an Oscar in 1995 for a supporting role in The Usual Suspects.
This is the highlight of my day. I hope it is not all downhill from here. I first have to say that I would like to dedicate this to the man who inspired my performance, a man who has been my friend and my mentor, and since my father died, a little bit like my father, whose performance in The Apartment stands as one of the finest we've ever had. Jack Lemmon, wherever you are, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Spacey's next milestone was in 2004 when he wrote, produced, directed, and starred in his film Beyond the Sea, in which he portrayed singer and songwriter Bobby Darin. Despite negative reviews, Spacey stated Beyond the Sea is not a linear story at all. It is not what people will expect, and it is not a biopic. It is my statement.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing.
Since then, Spacey's roles in major films include Superman Returns, 21, Recount, Moon, The Men Who Stare at Goats, and Casino Jack.
When you first arrived at Serang, there was a small crash. You woke up in the infirmary. You suffered minor brain damage and memory loss. I kept you under observation and ran some tests.
I remember that.
Sam, there was no crash.
Ikey. What's the matter, brother? I'm hemorrhaging money like Niagara Falls out of my ass. Sunsail, the restaurant, the school, they've all got me strapped, bouncing checks all over the place. And now I'm really out on a limb with the second restaurant.
What the hell do you need with a second restaurant?
Well, one of them's got to be kosher, right?
Oh, come on.
There isn't a decent kosher restaurant anywhere near K Street.
Spacey was nominated at the Golden Globes for Best Actor for both Recount and Casino Jack. Presently, Spacey has been dedicating most of his time to produce and perform in plays at the Old Vic Theatre in London, stating, "The movies are not my first priority, the theatre is." Here he plans on getting citizenship and to remain active in the play community.
Spacey will not disappear from the Hollywood scene as he is already working on 3 new films, Margin Call, Inseparable, and the highly anticipated comedy Horrible Bosses.
You woman?
It's 8:15 a.m.
It's 18-year-old Scott.
If you want a promotion, you gotta earn it.
I have decided who I want to be our new vice president of sales. Me.
What do you say?
Nick, please, we're in the middle of a meeting.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'll just attribute this to your drinking problem.
Hey, Powers. You better watch your friggin' self, because this is one doctor who does make house calls.